Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on, YouTube? D546. Feels good to jump on here. We got a little bit to cover here. First, I want to talk about what's been going on recently with Jaxson Dart. I will touch on what was happening today with Russell Wilson and recently and what I'm excited about there. But I want to talk about Jaxson Dart here because Jaxson Dart has been getting more and more second team reps. Now, he hasn't been doing a lot with them, if you count those practice stats and everything like that. But Jaxson Dart has been getting second team reps, which shows maybe there's a small possibility that Jameis to the Saints narrative could, have something to it. Maybe just maybe, we end up giving up our second string quarterback, Jameis Winston, and Jaxson Dart becomes quarterback 2. And at that point, if you're a rookie quarterback, your first round rookie quarterback is quarterback 2. Anything can happen at that point. But like I said, Dart getting second team reps, looking good out there throwing the ball. Throwing some interceptions, but he's new out there. But overall, he's looking good throwing the football from mechanics standpoint, from just the eye test, moving well, running a lot. Dable using him as that moving quarterback. So that is all exciting to see. I think he fits into Dable's offense perfectly. I think Dable can do everything that he wants to do with him in that offense. You can run, he can throw, he can, he has control of the entire field as far as making throws. So I think Dart is Dable's guy wholeheartedly. So with that being said, just that news, him taking second team reps and getting more other day than Jameis Winston is something to sort of take note of. But beyond that, people, Russell Wilson could be this year. He could be quarterback in this league. He could be quarterback 28, or he could be quarterback 12. I don't think he'll be a quarterback 8, 9, 7, 6. I don't think that will happen, but I do think it's a very real possibility that Russell Wilson could be a top 15 quarterback. And if he is, that means that he's going to be getting the football to our receivers. Now, that means he's gonna guys like Darius Slayton. We got to see Darius Slayton catch a ball in stride for the first time in his career since Eli Manning. Caught a ball in stride, even if it was only in practice. Just a really nice ball from Russ. Same thing with Hyatt. He's out there showing out. Theo Johnson is a guy I'm excited. Now, Russ hasn't been a guy who really targets tight ends heavily. But one of the first things he said when he got here was he's excited to play with Theo Johnson. So that could change. And he has had a guy like Will Dissly. Also, Wan'Dale Robinson. A lot of people are selling Wan'Dale short. A lot of people are selling him short. And if you remember, in Wan'Dale Robinson's rookie year and the year after that, there were some patterns that they ran for Wan'Dale Robinson where he was running some of those deep posts out of the slot and he was behind the defense. And for whatever reason, the quarterback either didn't throw him the ball or completely missed him. Whether it was Daniel Jones, whether it was Tyrod Taylor, whether it was who are all these jobbers, these horrible players that have played quarterback for the Giants. A lot of people have missed Wan'Dale deep. And I'm not saying that all of a sudden now Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be catching, bombs every single week. But I do think you'll see it about two or three times this year where Wan'Dale catches a pass 40 yards downfield because he's behind the defense. Because he does have 4.3 speed. He is a great route runner, and he does have that long speed. He's not a regular slot guy who can only make things happen in the short area and running like a 4.5. He's a 4.3 guy. So he can get behind the defense, and I expect him to do that a couple of times. We haven't seen that in practice, at least on camera, but we have seen him, make some of those contested catches 20, 30 yards downfield in the end zone. We've also seen, of course, him just working the whole field. So I'm really excited to see what I'm going to see from Wan'Dale. Jalen Hyatt, this is his year. It's now or never. And Jalen Hyatt is doing all the right things. Now, he was explosive last year in training camp and OTAs. He was down the field all the time. But he has a real deep ball thrower who will throw those deep balls in game. So that means that Hyatt should. I just said Wan'Dale Robinson isn't going to have a ton of those deep balls. Hyatt should have about 5 or 6 40-yard plays. 5 or 6 this season. I'm not expecting him to do a bunch because, who knows what will happen. But he should have 5 or 6 deep balls where it's a deep post out of the slot. It's a go route on the outside. It's a seam down the slot. He needs to have 5 or 6 times where Russ hits him wide open down the field and he's behind the defense and he scores. If he does that, that's about 400 yards right there. You know, if he scores on those, who knows? You know, maybe you know, 300 or 400 yards on, you know, 5 or 6 plays where he gets, you know, 70 yards, 60 yards. If he does that, that'll get you, like I said, about 300 or 400 yards there. And, you know, give us a couple first downs on a couple in routes. Once you prove that you can beat those guys deep, run a couple comebacks. Even if you can't do it well, the entire route tree starts to open up, even if you're not good at it. If you're deadly downfield, and that's what Hyatt can really do for this offense. Darius Slayton is what Hyatt, you know, wants to be. Darius Slayton is a guy who has that deep speed, blazing fast, gets behind the defense all the time, has never got 1,000 yards, has never got 900 yards, but very well should have, you know, a 1,100 yard season. Him with another quarterback, with him being the wide receiver 1 that he's been for us, not to say that he is a wide receiver 1, but the first wide receiver on the depth chart a couple of times for us, you got to think that the guy should have been at around 1,100 yards a couple of times. So I'm excited to see him out there this year with Russell Wilson. Again, he's making big plays in practice. He is, you know, doing his thing. Russ today connected with Slayton, with Wandale, with Slayton, Wandale, Tyrone Tracy, and was it Hyatt? May have been Hyatt, but connected with 4 straight players on 4 straight plays for 4 straight touchdowns. So, you know, the offense is opening up. The balls look, listen, the passes look more accurate than anything I've seen in years. The passes are so accurate. No one has to work. The passes are just right in the hand. So I am ecstatic because this wide receiver core, I think, is a little bit underrated. Malik Neighbors is obviously the star of the show. He's still, you know, out with the toe, but obviously the star of the show is Malik Neighbors. But beyond that, these wide receivers can make plays. All we need beyond Malik Neighbors are guys that can beat single coverage. If you can beat single coverage, which I believe Darius Slayton can, that's all we need. That's all we need. Wanda Robinson can beat single coverage. Hyatt, I'm not sure. And we need a quarterback that can hit these guys and take advantage of those 3 to 5 times a game, you know, maybe even 2 to 3 times, depending on what defense you're playing, that things are going to be open for us to make a play. Got to take advantage of that. And that's been the difference between this offense and almost every other offense in football, is that we do not take advantage of plays that are plays down the field, that are 20, 30-yard plays. We just can't get done. So that has absolutely got to change this year. Before I get out of here, I want to talk about the offensive line. I want to talk about Evan Neal more specifically. And he's played guard, and they're saying he looks good there. We'll see how that plays out. You know, we'll see how it looks when we get into camp. But, you know, so far, so good. He doesn't look like a complete embarrassment there so far. So I'm hoping that this can work out for him. If he's your right guard or he's your left guard and you move Runyon over to right guard, if he's the guy and he can play and he's average or above average, I'm happy. Because him and Andrew Thomas over there in the run game, oh man, that'd be beautiful. That'd be beautiful. 2 huge human beings moving guys. That'd be great, especially because we need some beef beside JMS. We need some beef there. We need some bigger offensive linemen beside him to put Runyon on the other side. And I think GVR isn't the biggest guy, so Runyon and Neal on either side of him, I think, would help him a lot. And let's just see what Neal has. He's a physical dude, works hard, just couldn't cut it at tackle. Was pretty decent last year at tackle actually, but this is crunch time for him. So we'll see if Russ can elevate this team to being a league average offense, to being a little bit above league average. If we can score a touchdown a game more, would be a really good offense. If we can get 4 points more, get to 20 points a game, I would be ecstatic, because that would mean that we would be seeing at least a touchdown or 2 a game. So you all let me know what you're thinking of OTAs so far. We are in the last week of OTAs. Then we'll have that dead period and we'll be in camp. We'll be in camp, and before you know it, the preseason will start jumping out, and Giants football will be back, and we'll see all the guys we want to see out there. But apparently, this year, we're going to have something worth watching in the preseason, and that is Jaxson Dart. So you all let me know what you're thinking, and I'm going to jump out of here for now. Hopefully this season is a season to remember for a good reason.